Well, I found it, guys. I'd been looking for this car in this area for a couple of times because I had filmed it a couple of years ago on a fucking shitty dead of winter day, and the only good thing about that particular day I remember is that it wasn't freezing cold, and I spotted this this Cougar a couple of blocks over, and it was all white and primer. It looked like shit. And it was really weird to see a car like that in the winter, because this is the Rust Belt. I always say it, you know, just don't see old cars, let alone from the 70s, out in the streets, you know, in the salt and snow. And here it is. Somebody I know had actually filmed it, I think, a couple of years ago or 6 months later or whatever, and it was repainted. And here it is in its splendor. Nice repaint, nice purple color. I'm guaranteeing that's the original color of the vinyl top. And you know, it's funny, I was talking with a friend of mine from Toronto yesterday who has an 81 Delta 88, and he was saying how he liked these Thunderbirds from these years, 77 to 79, and of course this is the Mercury Cougar equivalent, and these guys that are talking next to the car almost is kind of throwing me off, which is one of the reasons why I love filming classics in the street if I can, because it's more quiet, it's me in the car, and everything else usually is fucking boring as hell. Boring. And thanks to the zoom on this Canon here, I was able to find this beauty. Now, also, I might add, more importantly, well, not more importantly, but my grandfather, when I was a kid, my grandfather had a 77 Cougar. He had that car 20 years, man, had a 351 Windsor under the hood. It was chocolate brown. It had sort of an orange interior. And oddly enough, the car was, no joke, radio delete, which was very strange because of the fact that I come from a very musical family. I mean, both my uncles played guitar. I don't know why my dad didn't, you know. But look at this. This is intentional, man. What the hell's that all about? They're going to tell me it was a fucking tree branch that cut the roof like that. It looks like somebody took a knife to it. Well, it's a shiny paint job, but it's definitely not very good. But it's better than the way it looked before. It's a lot better anyway. Let me just take a look here. Yeah, that's an interesting interior, though. Very interesting indeed, because I don't know, it almost looks like, if that's original, it almost looks like modern colors. It's got the sport mirrors on it. I don't know, maybe it's an XR7, eh? Look at these caps on here. Oh man. Speaking of Delta 88, Delta 88 hubcaps. Holy shit, from about those years. How do you like that? Isn't that cool or what? Anyway, it's still on the road. Somebody's still enjoying it. And that's what it's all about, man. Because let me tell you something. Especially you tree huggers out there, okay? We could all die tomorrow, okay? And it won't even be because of climate change. It's just because of a natural phenomenon. You know, like let's say Mount St. Helens explodes. That's it. It's game over for the world. Very nice Kawasaki, vintage Kawasaki bike. I probably have an ad for one of these. What is that, like an 80, 81, 82, 85? Yeah, it's a nice old boat. But again, the paint, oof. She's what we call a driver condition, you know? But yeah, I remember my grandfather's Cougar, man. That was a nice time. Incidentally, my grandfather's Cougar, because my grandfather was a senior, obviously, my grandmother, she had died in '83. But when he would start that car up, he didn't use it all the time, so the engine got carbonated. So when he started it, it was this fucking huge cloud of black smoke. I remember seeing that for the first time. It was startling even. So it just goes to show you that, like I often say, old cars are like people. They need exercise. They need, you know, to have their fluids pumping, and the oil, and the transmission oil, and the coolants, and it's also so that the, you know, all the seals, rubbers, gaskets, hoses, none of that shit dries up. Because if a car stays on a off the road long enough, the engine could seize, especially if there's not any, or if not enough oil in it. Always great to see these cars. And incidentally, that reminds me, there's a T-Bird I filmed in about these years, 77, 78, 79. I think it was 77 or 78 in the NDG sector, and it was white. Let me just finish by looking at one last thing here. What the hell happened here? What the fuck is that? That's all dirt? Look at this here. Yeah. Oh yeah. Big ass Delta 88 hubcaps. Tell you something funny about those hubcaps. Those are rare. Because when I was a kid, And those hubcaps were optional. They were always optional on the Delta 88. And you never saw them. It was always the regular hubcaps, and like my dad had on his 79 Delta. So it's funny to see those Delta 88 hubcaps on that Cougar from the same era. And Andre, if you see this, I expect you to comment about this on the phone with me or something. Preferably on the phone, because I'm not a big texting guy. Anyway, I'm Tickled Pink. Been a great day. Take it easy. Bye-bye.